What's up, y'all? Another episode. Obviously, you guys it's been a little bit, got busy. You can tell I've made some changes. I got my light. Everything is looking a lot cleaner now. And I got everything up and running. And I hope you guys enjoy this new look. And let's just jump right into it. So tonight, obviously the Warriors and Lakers are playing tonight, and so are the Knicks and Heat. And so with that, Knicks and Heat are up 2-1. I I've already said it since the start. I think the Heat are going to be the one in it till the end, and that's just what I think personally. People may think otherwise, but Knicks are in it. Uh, I think in a must-win situation, and if they don't get that, then I think a lot of things are going to change for the Knicks coming up. If they go down 3-1, it's not looking too hot, but they have a chance to tie up the series, and they have a solid chance in picking back where they left off. Basically, gonna get the mic closer to me so I can see what's going on. Other than that, Warriors and Lakers are going back and forth in this series. Now the Lakers are up 2-1. Warriors lost again away. Their struggles away are constantly becoming an issue for them. Everyone knows that the Warriors are what I wouldn't say better team, but they're expected to just beat the Lakers right now and at this point in the season. And with with the way they play away though is really it's really screwing with them, but at the same time I think the Warriors honestly they're on and off, on and off, on and off. Kind of like how they said AD's on and off. Every time AD scores 20 plus points, the Lakers win their games. But I would say when the bench is not scoring and the only people scoring is like the starters, if that, like you can't have people like Clay putting up 10 to 15 points and expect to win the game. And that's what's been happening whenever the Warriors do lose their games. But then they'll come out hot, shut them down, play good defense, and make their shots. Honestly, they're a shooting team. So if they're not making their shots and they don't really play in the paint that much, they're not making their shots, they're not going to win the game. And that's point period blank. Lakers tend to play more in the paint, so they're getting more fouls called, and people are complaining about fouls. But here's the thing: the Warriors don't play in the paint. They're not going to get a whole lot of fouls calls. Most people stay back on 3 point long shots, stuff like that, and they're not going to get as many fouls because they're getting rid of the ball faster. And that's just how the cookie crumbles. So, with that being said, that's pretty much all I had to say about the NBA playoffs. I'm gonna try to jump into something else here in a second. We're gonna jump into MLB standings here right now. So lately, a lot of teams are going back and forth with the number one spot in their division, but some teams are starting to walk away with it. I would say the Atlanta Braves are walking away with the National League East, and the Tampa Bay Rays have officially have stamped that card stating that they are number one. They're the team to beat this year. They are the best team in the league. There's no beating the Tampa Bay Rays. And from what from what I could see as well is I think the Baltimore Orioles were slept on. They're 22-12. And that honestly is a pretty wild stat to see for Baltimore. Minnesota sitting in first place. That I feel as if was expected. That division is awful though. Chicago White Sox are 12-23. The Kansas City Royals are 9-26, one of the worst team, possibly the worst team in the league. Nope, Oakland beat them by a game, 8-27. Oakland Athletics are a absolute joke of a team this year. So are the Kansas City Royals. They look terrible. Let's see who else is not doing too hot. St. Louis. St. Louis is doing really bad start of the season. But it's I would say once you get into 30, 40 plus losses in the first half of the season, you're probably not gonna get too far into the postseason if you even do. Team that's kind of surprising me right now is the Houston Astros. The American League West is tightly contested, but the Rangers and Angels seem to be the only two going at it. This is by far the best I've seen the Angels ever play. I I I think a lot of people can agree with me on that too. And I mean, Trout and Ohtani are going to do their thing. They're 6-4 in their last 10. Rangers are 6-4 in their last 10. Rangers look good. The only issue the Rangers will have going through the rest of the season is, can DeGrom stay healthy? As of right now, the answer I would say is no. He does not look like he can stay healthy. He's constantly getting pulled out of his games. He's never finishing his starts, but when he does, he's damn near throwing a perfect game and he's playing excellent. So Rangers got to figure something out. But Bruce Bochy, I think, doesn't get enough credit for where this team is at based on what they were just last year and what they were doing the year before and the year before that. Like, they were god awful. And now the Rangers are one of the best teams in the league. That's just full flip. Now, we're not going to ignore the fact they did get Bruce Bochy. They got people like Jacob DeGrom. They signed Seager. They got all these huge names in the past 2 years. So, I mean, for them to turn it around that quick and then get a new manager, and the new manager is not necessarily new, he's just been doing it with another team, actually walked away from the game for a little bit, and now is back, and he's back to what he was doing before he retired, quote unquote, retired, right? So I would be afraid to play the Rangers because they have a coach that knows what he's doing, and they have players that have experience and that have also possibly can take this team to the glory land. Probably get a ship. We'll see. We'll see though. Um, Other than that, the biggest shocker I think in the National League is the Pittsburgh Pirates being one in first place in their division, damn near best team in the league almost. Um, but they are wow. Okay, may have spoke way too soon. Maybe they just had a hot start. They are in a 7-game losing streak. That's pretty hard to accomplish. Seeming with the hot start that they had, that is really rough. Wow. 7-game losing streak. You know what? Let's take a dive into this. This is actually quite interesting. What is going on with the Blue Jays win? That was yesterday. Pirates get it 7. So far, 7 losses. All right. So their last 3 losses were against the Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays owned them those 3 games as well. Okay. See, things are starting to make sense a little bit. Okay. So they played probably one of the top 5 teams the last 2 series that they played. They lost 3 in a row to Tampa Bay. No, yeah. 3 in a row to Tampa Bay. One loss before that series was one loss to the Nationals. 3 in a row to Tampa Bay and 3 in a row to the Blue Jays. Those are 2 top 5 teams. This 7-game skid, I think, may be exaggerated, but it's also possible. It's from the based on the scores that I'm looking at as well right now. Maybe Pittsburgh isn't as good as I thought. I may have spoke a little too soon, just a little too soon. But, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, though. Sorry, guys. All right. Um. Yeah, I mean, we're kind of at a point in the season too with the MLB where we're not going to talk about a whole lot besides probably standings at this point in the season and like who's injured, who's not. Um, there is a few things I could talk about with the NFL right now, actually. So let me jump into the NFL. So obviously the draft is complete, right? Now the big thing that's swirling around is I guess the Colts last year actually contacted Andrew Luck and was like, "Hey, bro, can we use you? Can you help us out?" That is pure desperation. Dude's retired for years now. He hasn't been in the league in quite some time. Some big contracts were done. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is now with the Jets. Jets also brought in Randall Cobb. The joke going around with the Aaron Rodgers trade and everything that came with it is he is transforming the Jets into what he had at Green Bay. I don't think that's going to work for him. I really don't think the Jets are going to do a whole lot besides maybe go 9-8, like what he was doing in Green Bay. They need an O line. Didn't really address that. Maybe they did slightly. Didn't I don't really pay attention to the Jets. I'm a Niner fan. Um, there's still some big offseason trades going on. Jalen Hurts, obviously, he's got his contract, and so did Lamar Jackson. Lamar's Jackson contract, all this drama about him wanting a fully guaranteed deal, and then when it comes down to it, he didn't even get it, but he did get a hefty payday. And I mean, he represented himself through his family, and I mean, not a whole lot of players do that. You have to really rely on knowing what you're talking about. And for a while, people were like, "Dude, do you even know what you're talking about? Do you even know what you're doing?" And I mean, it ended up working out well, pretty much for him. If he didn't sign that contract that he did sign, and we are still waiting for him to get paid, I would start thinking, okay, a lot of teams are like, "Hey, you're asking for too much. This is what this is what we're laying down." But he could have been like, "Hey, until you guys hit this number, till one of y'all hit this number," which the Ravens did. And you know what? I mean, the Ravens honestly had to be truthful with themselves. They needed him more than needed them. A lot of people, maybe some people will agree, maybe some people won't. But the truth hurts. The Ravens needed Lamar Jackson more than Lamar Jackson wanted to even be there. So that's what I had to say on that. Other than that, there's not much going on, guys. I've been keeping it short and sweet, been running it solo. Probably going to, this is probably what it's going to look like for quite some time. If you want to join the show, please let me know. Other than that, be a friend, tell a friend. Until next time, everybody.